Welcome everybody, good afternoon. My name is Michele Chicco, I'm an Italian journalist, and today I will bring you in the first truly international edition of Tavolo Giovani, the conference organized by la Camera di Commercio di Milano Monza Brianza Lodi to help startup networking and scale up. Today is a special edition because it's in partnership with the Chamber of Commerce of Nantes, and we will have 10 startups from Italy and France. Before to start, I would like to ask to Doris Ciliberti, head of startup and startup project of Camera di Commercio di Milano Monza Brianza Lodi, to an introduction to this event.
Thanks, Michele, and good afternoon and welcome everybody. Thanks to the Italian and French audience. Today we'll have the pleasure to meet 10 startups, 6 Italian and 4 French, that will present their innovative solutions. We have organized this event with the Chamber of Commerce of Nantes and Nazaire, and we have chosen the medtech sector because it's strategic from an economic point of view and for the important social impact on our territory. Let me share with you some data. In Milan, there are more than 1,500 farm med biotech companies that represent 9% of the national total. And from 2015 to 2022, the innovative startups in the med sector based in Milano have increased for 17 to 97, and they represent 16% of the national total. I thank you all for participation, and in particular, especially the Chamber of Commerce of Nantes and Nazaire for your collaboration in this first edition of Tavolo Giovani International. And in particular, I thank you, Chiara Danieli, Vice President for International Development at the Chamber of Commerce of Nantes, and I invite her to take the floor. Thank you very much. Good Tavolo Giovani.
Thanks a lot, Doris. Chiara Danieli, Vice President International Development of Chamber de Commerce of Nantes and Nazaire. Sorry for my French.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Very well.
Okay. Thank you very much for the introduction, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chiara Danieli, the Vice President in charge of International Development of the Chamber of Commerce of Nantes and Nazaire. And I'm very pleased to participate to the first French-Italian cross-border event, Tavolo Giovani. This is for us a fantastic opportunity for our startups as well. So I'm very, very pleased to be here with you today. In the name of the Chamber of Commerce of Nantes and Nazaire, I want to thank the team of the Chamber of Commerce of Milan that have helped us and driven us through the first edition of this event. Your precious experience.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Chiara, could you please switch on the camera? Sorry.
Yeah, I thought it was on.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. Now it's perfect.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I was saying that I very much thank the Chamber of Commerce of Milan that has helped us and has allowed us to participate to this event, which is a very important opportunity for our startups. Your precious experience and your highly skilled and dedicated personnel have been at the core of this event. I would also like to thank Atlant Pole that has integrated from the start and that have worked closely in order to identify, encourage, and invite the panel of startup companies in the sector of medtech of our region. I would also mention the contribution of NAPF, which is the club of all financial actors of our region that has promoted the event through their network. The Chamber of Commerce of Nantes shares with the Chamber of Commerce of Milan the same ambition to help the development of the innovative companies and help them in the projection and at an international level. This project corresponds exactly to the objective, and it is the first event of many to come. At least that's my wish. And now I wish to all the companies that will present their business and to all the audience a very profitable and interesting session. I am sure that you will be amazed, as I was, by the quality of the participants today. So I just wish you a very great Tavolo Giovani with big opportunities for everybody.
Thanks a lot, Chiara. It was a pleasure having you here. So today, as Doris said just a few minutes ago, we will have 10 startups from Italy and France. All of startups are from the medtech sector, which is one of the main important sector for the innovation, because the ambition is to help the human being to live better. So it's very, very important for us, for our future. We will have all of startup. We'll have 4 minutes for their pitch, and then will be an 2 minutes to Q&A session. So go ahead with the first startup, Apotec Care. Céline Ferron, Céline, are you ready? Okay.
Indeed, can you see my screen?
We can see your screen perfectly.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
4 minutes by now. You can see a countdown.
I can't, but it's okay. It will tell me. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce you to Apotec Care. So we're 2 co-founders behind Apotec Care. We have Kylian with more than 13 years of experience in IT development, and myself, Céline, with more than 10 years in digital transformation. By our sides, we have doctors as scientific advisors, and Yuna in charge of communication, and Hamza having worked more than 10 years as a clinical data manager, helping us to build a solution. We are well incubated since we are at Station F, which is very helpful to help us grow. Yep. Our mission is to win over chronic disease by giving patients the tool to be empowered, giving doctors a solution to save time and deliver personalized and preventive care, and providing pharma a solution to reduce time to market and cost. The problem that we are addressing is that considering chronic disease without data, there is no hope. There is no hope at the short term, since without sharing clear and precise information with your doctor, there is no way you can get an optimal medical follow-up. And there is no hope at the long term, since there is very little chances that to see a new medication coming on the market without data feeding research. So our solution is meaningful data collection, delivering value added to patient with first a mobile app for the patient to monitor his chronic disease, and behind the app, a digital platform allowing us to adapt the app to any study which leads to an easier study recruitment, lower dropout rates, and better quality of data collected in real time. Our model relies on modularity and consistency, since we are in the pocket of the patient all along his care journey, and helping research all along the drug life cycle, before, during, and after a new drug release. Technically speaking, our solution is made of building blocks to match each disease and trial needs. It also allows us to release a new disease within less than 3 months. Our revenue model is the pay-per-use. I just want to stop just for 1 minute to be clear on the revenue model. The patient do not pay for the mobile app that he is using. It's the research team and the pharma who pays by study, by patient included in the study. So you can see some of the prices that we are applying to any study. We started in 2021, and so far we've already got patients, doctors, and pharma validation with more than 10K users in France and 4.4 rank on the stores. We have more than 150 neurologists distributing us in France, and we are on the process of contractualization with a major pharma company. Our next steps are geographical and disease expansion. So today we are available in French, Italian, and English, and we are targeting other European countries in 2023, and we'll be addressing the US market in 2025. And speaking of disease, today we address migraine, disabled child pain. We are about to address audition, alopecia, and dizziness, and we are in discussion with potential partners for long COVID, rare disease, and cancer. This growth will also offer us more and broader opportunities. So we are an actor of 3 different markets: the patient-reported outcome, which is valued at $5.3 billion by 2030. The patient support program market, which is a $5.1 billion market in 2021 in the US, and the real-world evidence market, which is a $2.3 billion market by 2026, with a very strong growth.
Céline.
Si.
Céline, thanks a lot. The 4 minutes are gone. So I have a question for you. What is your plan about revenue? What is your target?
So the revenue is the one that you've seen so far. We've had our first client so far, and our revenue is coming from the research. So every time we have a new disease addressed by the app, we'll have a research partnership with either academical or pharmaceutical research, and we'll pay by study, by patient included. So the prices really depend on the study and the trial protocol.
No, I understood. I would just to ask you if you have a target.
Oh yeah, sure, of course. So we're targeting a 200K euro revenue for 2022, this year. And this is gonna grow pretty fastly because of the technical building blocks that we've built. We have a lot of synergies, and so we can address many disease and many opportunities at the same time. So we're targeting more than millions of revenue by 2024.
Thanks. Another question in 30 seconds. Why focus on chronic disease?
Well, because it's the problem of millions and millions of patients in Europe. Chronic disease means a disease that is long-lasting, right? And it's really a burden for every patient living with this disease today, and it's a huge problem for our society. It costs a lot to our healthcare system, and it has a lot of impact on the personal but also the professional life of patients.
Thanks a lot, Céline, and really good luck.
Thank you.
So now we can go ahead with Filippo Piatti, CEO and co-founder of Artines. Hi, Filippo. We don't hear you, but we can see your presentation. One second, we can't hear you, Filippo. 1 second.
Working. Now can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, now it's perfect. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
You can go.
I'm sorry for the issue. Thank you very much. It is a pleasure to be here and to be introduced and to have the opportunity to present our startup Artines. We are developing a patient-specific platform that is intended to support and optimize cardiovascular surgeries and interventions. I'm Filippo Piatti, CEO and co-founder, and we are dealing with the structural heart diseases in particular, because it's one of the major issues actually in the modern world, and we have an increasing burden for aging population and people worldwide. But most importantly, we see that almost 1/3 of surgical interventions do not restore normal conditions in patients, and this is almost equal to a failing or suboptimal intervention on the patient. This is why we want to deliver and target this problem worldwide, which is caused by mainly 3 major problems. We are dealing with complex surgeries and complex interventions to heart diseases that can lead to critical complications for patients. We are facing a continuous evolution of treatments and new medical devices, and everything is performed by a multidisciplinary team and approach delivered and driven by imaging, interventional cardiologists, and specialist biomedical device companies. So it's a job for different specialties, and it's a very complex activity on the patient. And this is why we are providing a novel platform named Articore, which is a 3D patient-specific mixed reality support platform that inside the surgical room provides an intraoperative assistant and guidance to deliver a patient-specific plan. So the platform starts from medical data, extracts a 3D representation of the organ of the patient, of the heart of the patient, on which to perform patient-specific planning of every step of the surgery, from imaging to the catheter movements and maneuvering to the implant position in the heart of the patient, and then through artificial intelligence translates this information into an intraprocedural update set of information that helps and guides through augmented reality the team in the operating room to deliver and replicate and execute the steps on the patient. And this allows in the surgical journey to deliver the optimal treatment as possible on the patient. What we have achieved so far in this short time that I have still to present our company, we have achieved clinical publications for first preliminary clinical validation. The latest one was recently presented at TCT, which is one of the biggest conferences worldwide just a couple of days ago. And we have already engaged with hospitals and medical device companies as early adopters of the technology to test the clinical impact and to test also the capabilities and potentialities of our technology to deliver better treatments and better medical devices of choices for the patients. And this is some metrics of our active usage of the platform across Europe. We are targeting, and we will cover for sure by the end of the month, 200 patients treated by June 2021, and we are increasing more the adoption, as you see by the red line, to prove the potentialities of planning and supporting patients' treatment. The team itself is composed by myself and Giovanni Rossini and Omar Pappalardo as managing team and co-founders. We are now a team of 13 people, so we have 10 people working for R&D, product development, quality and training, and we have, of course, consultants to support business and scale up of the company. And most importantly and lastly, we have a full advisory board for the scientific and clinical knowledge and direction to drive our growth. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks. Oh, wonderful. Thanks a lot, Filippo. I will ask you just what is your strategy for the scale up?
Yes, thanks. It's a very difficult question, actually, and a long answer, but I will try to be short. For sure, what we have now in target is a new medical device certification. Our platform is already certified with the CE mark for the first part of the support. We are now targeting the CE mark of Class 2A with a new MDR regulation to provide full pre-operative planning support for the intervention. And this will be the first step on the market. And we are engaging already. We have already some contracts ongoing with distributors of medical devices. So we will target a wider distribution of our software through distributors, but also engaging with more medical device companies. So the final end user will be the hospital, but we will get to the hospital into different channels, and this will be our scale-up strategy also for the future.
Are you planning any round?
Yes, for sure. We are now seeking for a Series A, a pre-Series A round, and then a Series A round in the next 12 or 14 months of a total of 7 million euros.
Wonderful, and good luck, Filippo, really.
Thank you very much. Thank you, it was a pleasure.
So we can go ahead with the Biomimex Frederick Pett. Hi, Frederick.
Hello.
Hello. How's going?
Good. Do you see me?
Good. Yeah, very well.
Perfect.
We can hear you and we can see your presentation. So the stage is yours.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention. Now, now I would like you to imagine that you are waking up in a hospital and you've just been transplanted with a new kidney. This is actually a great news because that surgery has freed you from this dialysis machine that has completely conditioned your life in the past few years. And now you can envision again a life of freedom. The problem is that your body is rejecting your kidney. So the new challenge that you're facing is, on one side, together with your nephrologist, on one side, you need to avoid the rejection of the kidney. And on the other side, you need to avoid as much as possible the side effects and negative effects of the immunosuppressive medicines that you take to avoid the rejection. The problem there is that in about a quarter of the cases, the rejection is completely silent. So how do you know you do a rejection, and how can you control your medicine? Today, the gold standard is this. Practically, you have to do a biopsy. And the biopsy is an invasive procedure that is prone to bleeding and infection. And this drawing was taken from this book. And in this book, the authors ask why. And like the whole clinical community, everyone is still asking why in 2022 you need to do a biopsy to know if you do a rejection. So our solution is you don't. You just take 2.5 ml of blood, which, by the way, people who have been under transplantation do very often. And practically from that blood, we derive a genic signature. That genic signature is inserted in an algorithm that resides in the cloud, and that results in synthetic score. The score is very simple. You're green, you're not at risk. 97% confidence that you're not doing a rejection. It's red, it means that something needs to be done, either assessing further or taking clinical action. I've just talked about kidney, but we also have, this is a platform, so we also have the same offer for lung transplant. And in this case, it's not just going back to dialysis, it's a life or death issue. And we have a second family of application that we will shortly start to develop, which is chronic inflammatory disease, and we will start with ulcerative colitis. So it's a whole platform with two families, 3 applications, and more to come. The team that is supporting this business is gathering 5 co-founders, including me. You have on the top the 2 inventors of the technology, Dr. Brouard and Danger, and together with Professor Bouler. Those are top-notch French scientists receiving medals from the CNRS, members of the INSERM, and so forth. And together with me in the operational seat, I have Nicolas Bouler. Practically, this team is very experienced. The scientists have experience in launching new business, and Nicolas and myself have each 20 years of experience in managing medical device businesses. So we know what we're doing, and practically, this is where we are. We just finished the design of the first test, which coincided with the first phase of seed round that we just achieved this summer. We have a second phase of seed in 2023 with 300K to go, and we will aim at a series next year. So in a nutshell, from a business perspective, and this is the last slide, we have the characteristic of having a relatively low technological risk, a really fast time to market, and an ability to reach a global potential reach internationally. And I would like to encourage you to reach out to me to understand a little bit better those 3 things. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Frederick. I would just to know when you think to come in other countries in Europe.
Absolutely. We are already operating in 12 countries, including Italy, of course. When I say operating, practically, we have hired consultants that are specialized in market access. And right now we have in all 12 countries, so 10 countries in Europe, plus US, plus Japan. And we have finished in 2022 the first round of checking our hypothesis and the plan. And now we are starting the actual work of gathering KOLs, putting together clinical boards, and preparing for both market access and pre-commercialization.
Frederick, what is your target for the next 3 years?
So the target is in the next 3 years to get CE mark both for the kidney and lung transplant. The kidney should be first quarter of 2025 and lung for the last quarter of 2025 with first reimbursement obtained probably in Europe somewhere. I'm not sure it's going to be France. It could be Italy, could be Germany by the end of 2025 and therefore having the first market hit by end of 2025.
Thanks, Frederick. We have a question from Nicolas Kirru. If you can please answer in 30 seconds. What is the cost of a single procedure?
Yeah, the cost of a single procedure is 650 euros, which is for the kidney. I don't have yet a cost for the lung. It's probably going to be more for the lung because the market is a bit more small and it's a life and death issue. To give you an idea, there are some similar tests based in the US. They are 5 to 10 times more expensive with times to deliver at least 1 week, and ours is 2 hours. And this is what we bring as a disruption, time and cost that are in magnitudes of difference.
Thanks a lot, Frederick. Good luck.
Thank you. Arrivederci.
Ciao. So now is time to Biomimex. Paola Occhetta, CEO e co-founder. Hi, Paola. Hi. We can't hear you, but we can see your presentation. Okay, probably is fine now. No.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Sorry for this problem. So thank you very much. I'm Paolo Occhetta. I'm the CEO of Biomimex. And to start with, I want to remind you that the average time to develop new life-saving therapy is almost 10 years. And if we take, for example, heart attack as an example, in this time, more than 7 million people will die, and more than $200 billion will be spent to treat this pathology. And this is only one example to remind us that the process of drug development is still highly inefficient, failure rate higher than 98%. And the main reason is that pharma company today has no other option but to use animal model, which we all realize are completely different from humans. And this means that that pharma company discover new therapies based on wrong model of disease, based on model that has a really low versatility, and this still costs more than $2.8 billion for each drug. And to solve this problem and make the drug discovery process more efficient, Biomimex developed what we call beating organs on chip, which are a solution that can finally bring human relevant data early in drug development, offering precise model disease designed in a highly versatile platform, and that can finally reduce of at least 26% the cost for developing each single drug. And this is possible thanks to a patented technology, which is called UBIT platform, that is a miniaturized cell culture system that starts from human cells and adds a key and secret ingredient, which is motion. And thanks to the fact that we add motion to our cells, we can now generate in a dish a reliable model of disease that pharma company can use to discover new therapies and hopefully to be more efficient in this process. And talking about our key ingredient, motion, to make you understand why is it important, I think you can see in this slide why motion is important for the heart, for example. But what's interesting is that every single organ in your body is subject to motion, and so motion is relevant for many different applications. And we already validated and demonstrated the value of our models in drug discovery with 3 applications, osteoarthritis, cardiac disorders, and fibrosis. And taking osteoarthritis, which by the way is a pathology for which no cure exists, one of our sponsors, a biotech company, is finally proposing to FDA a new therapy thanks to our data. So we are on the right path for this. We are referring to a huge market, which is the one of pharma R&D, and we are focusing at the beginning, as I said, on osteoarthritis and fibrosis as main therapeutic area. And this will lead us to target revenues of more than $1 billion. And in particular, we will get to it through a business model in which we establish agreement with pharma company to support them in their drug discovery program through engagement with pilot study, technology access fee, and payment and achievement of developmental and commercial milestones. We already have 3 active customers as a pharma company that are using our model in the drug discovery program. And as I mentioned, one of our main achievements is that one of these customers is filing an IND application to progress in clinical trials. We are partnering with the global CRO and have more than 20 beta testers worldwide. Most importantly, we have a partnership with the best clinicians in Europe and worldwide that are helping us in developing reliable preclinical models. All of this is possible thanks to our team. We are 4 founding members of the company. We are together since more than 10 years, come all from Politecnico di Milano, and we now enlarge the team. We are 7 people working and a key advisor that are supporting our business. And as I mentioned, our platform is extremely versatile. We already validated 3 contexts of use, but we believe that the potentiality is much more than this. So we already have in our R&D pipeline a wave of new models of complex diseases that we want to start developing and offer to pharma. And for this, we are looking for partnership and investment. And I thank you for the attention.
Thanks a lot, Paola. I have a question for you. What is the relation with the regulator that in your sector are very controller?
Sure. So we have a really strict connection with regulators. Organ on chip has been proposed by FDA as one of the technologies that can substitute animal models, and substituting animal models is one of the pillars both of US and Europe in the next few years. So we are actually sitting at the table together with FDA and EMA to draft regulation in this field that is a really new one. So no regulation and standard exists yet, and we are trying together with them to understand what best way to introduce this method in the drug developmental pipeline. And for sure, through pilot studies where we are doing it with end user is a great way to collect data and show the value.
Are you planning any round for the next years?
Yes, we are actually in fundraising now for a pre-series A of 5 million that we plan to close by the beginning of next year.
And then, so from 2023, you can have much more money to develop your project, no?
Yes, this is the plan. We are raising for completing the industrialization of our product and expand the portfolio of biological application.
Thanks a lot, Paola, and good luck for you and for your team.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now we can go ahead with the complex data. Caterina Laporta, CEO.
Yeah.
Hi,
hello.
Caterina.
Hi.
How are you?
Maybe very well. I
Fantastic.
try to. You hear me, no? Correct.
Yeah,
So
very well.
Okay, good. So I have now to 1 second. I go in presentation if I'm able. Okay. Do you see my screen? Everything
Perfect.
is fine?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you so much. So first of all, thank you so much for having me. We are Complex Data. We create value by decoding data. And today we'll present our platform that is the first personalized care platform for breast cancer prediction using also artificial intelligence. So we are an interdisciplinary team. Myself, I'm serving as CEO Complex Data. I am have long experience in digital medicine and cancer research, as well as Stefano Zapperi has a long experience in computational methods, and we are the scientific part. We have a business development colleagues, in particular Luigi Capani, who has a very long experience in international business development for pharma, like Roche, AstraZeneca, and Biogen. And for finance, we have the support of Maurizio Ansaldi, who has a long experience in corporate finance and is also a business angel. So we are, interdisciplinary team. What's the problem? So we know very well that we have a low precision in general for cancer treatment, and in particular for breast cancer. Still about 30% of breast cancer patients are estimated to be overtreated. That means that they receive a treatment when it's not necessary, and that means that they suffer from side effects and a bad quality of life. In addition, on the top of an extra cost for National Health Service. And also we have to be in mind, be aware that people don't die for primary tumor, but for metastasis, so secondary tumors. Our solution is the platform Ariadne that is able to identify and to stratify patients for each subtypes of breast cancer. We have 4 different subtypes in order to calculate a risk that specific patients will develop metastasis. And then the oncologist can think about a personalized breast cancer treatment. This helps services in saving huge overtreatment costs, as well as pharma companies to identify patients responding to specific drugs in a personalized way. So what we did is to validate, in particular for one out of the 4 different subtypes. So for triple negative breast cancer, we validate and we published on top journal. We certificate, and so now we have a CE mark type 2 medical device from 2021. We have a cloud platform and GDPR EU, and we protect our idea. We got an Italian patent in 2019. We granted in 2021. We have a PCT extension and from 2020, and we are now asking for a claim in Europe and US. So what about the difference with respect to our competitors? As I told you before, we are able to work on the metastatic potential, and we work on all the 4 different subtypes of breast cancer. What about the market? So as you can see from this slide, summing up, we plan to reach about 15% of SOMA by 2027 in different countries, not only Italy, of course, but US, Germany, and other countries in Europe. The business model is to target hospitals, so the revenue is to sell Ariadne tests through subscription to Ariadne platform, and pharma companies, contracts for Ariadne platform to usage for drug efficacy, to identify specific, and in particular for triple negative breast cancer that is lacking no specific drug. We already have a key established partnership, early adopters in a hospital in Italy and also outside Italy, as well as a network of hospitals around Europe and the suppliers, as well as patients association. So we now plan to go to market. We are now adopting strategy, early national adopters, key regional breast cancer, and remaining breast cancers. And that's what the market that we focus to reach in the near future. Italy first, and then enter US and other countries around Europe. We are now working on business plan validation. So the assumption to validate is the oncologist that to see values to test our triple negative breast cancer, our platform, interest for pharma company, reimbursement. We are working for National Health Service, and the FDA certification possibly we get from 2024, as well as oncologist willing.
Thanks,
this
Caterina.
Now, okay, this is what
financial
we need.
Needs.
Yes,
Okay, no, financial needs.
No,
financial needs are okay because are my questions. So financial
okay,
needs.
that is this is the answer. So we are now starting a round from November 2022. So we plan to raise 1.5 million in 2023, and this is the task that we want to accomplish with this money: management, marketing, and sales, clinical studies in order to validate Ariadne for drugs, and preparation to market activities. A long term, this is the scale up plan. So we are now want to validate all the strategy in at the end of 2022. And
so
then,
IPO in 6 years.
Yes, that's the exit. We hope. Yes, we have a plan.
Good for investors.
Yeah, we have
Absolutely.
a plan of this. Sorry,
I would like to ask you about your most important priority for the next 6 months.
Validation of the business plan. Well, that's what we are now doing, and we are working on different tasks that I showed you before. So in particular, we are talking with oncologists in order to, again, aware them about our technology. We are working for the reimbursement because we want to do a proof of concept in Italy, so the national reimbursement in the Italian system. That's the main 2 tasks, and also about the market and going to scale up in US. That's the other task that we want to address in the next 6-8 months.
Thanks a lot, Caterina. And
Thank you so much.
Good luck for you and your incredible team.
Thank you so much.
So we can go ahead with the Clis bio. Gabriella Francavilla, Global Marketing and External Relation Manager. Ciao Gabriella. C'è Gabriella? Are you here? Sorry. Are you here, Gabriella? 1 second.
I am here. I apologize. Something happened.
Hi, Gabriella.
Hi. Can you see my screen?
Okay, now I can see your presentation.
Okay, fantastic.
I can't see you, but I can hear you very well. So you can go with your presentation.
I go ahead. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gabriella Francavilla. I'm Marketing and External Relations Manager here at ClisBio. ClisBio is a regenerative medicine company, and we are working to develop a series of solutions leveraging silk as our one and only powerful material. Silk has many properties that we will be able to see in the next slides, and the solutions we are developing are targeting two main spaces. One is the orthopedic space, and the other one is the vascular surgery space. We are mainly focused on orthopedics, and our first solution to market is a nerve guide, which is promoting the regeneration of peripheral nerve repairs. The first product and design will target the segment of the digital nerves, and we will see more information about the market in a while. ClisBio has been funded in 2016. We have been we raised actually 10 million euros already so far, and we are now opening a new round seeking for 7 million euros. Why silk? We use a specific kind of silk. The origin is the Bombyx mori. Silk has great advantages from many perspectives. In fact offers an outstanding mechanical and biological property, offers the possibility to program a specific degradation profile based on the needs of the implantable device that we are developing. It offers versatile processing options, as well as favors the angiogenesis, which is one of the most crucial and important factors in regenerative medicine. Let's deep dive a little bit in our technology platform. Here we actually put the first main solutions we are working on to create a focus. The first to market, as I said, is nerve repair. We are going to explore some more information in a few seconds. The vascular graft is also part of our priorities, but with a specific and dedicated team, but the most advanced solutions apart from the nerve repair are on rotator cuff repair and bone graft repair. I would like to speak to you. Sorry, I heard someone speaking. I continue. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, sure. I would like to deep dive into the peripheral nerve repair solution, which is called SilkBridge. Peripheral nerve injuries affect millions of people worldwide, and in US alone there are more than 300,000 cases every year. The current solutions are actually not providing for a solution, so they're actually options. Allograft are too expensive. Autograft actually create a morbidity at the donor site, and the current conduits don't provide any mechanical properties. Therefore, ClisBio is developing SilkBridge, which is a three-dimensional scaffold material, which is able to favor the regeneration across a nerve gap of a peripheral nerve, supporting it and providing also biological properties. We have been completing the first in-human study already. It's been performed by Dr. Maurizio Calcagni in Zurich, and the first results are actually very encouraging, and we are now accessing the clinical stage for the European clinical study to access the CE mark, as well as we are going to submit next year the 510K to the FDA, as our first market will be the US. In terms of next steps, as I said at the beginning of the presentation, we're actually seeking for 7 million euros, focusing on nerve repair and to complete the following steps, which are regulatory clearance, as I just said, to the FDA, as well as kick off the clinical study in Europe. We are also advancing with the other solution partnering with very important other entities, and we actually need to progress with those solutions as well as increase the team and the people in our team to fulfill a few of the next milestones that we have.
Thanks, Gabriella. Very interesting presentation. Gabriella, are you looking for new technologies or not? I mean,
you mean
are you? Yeah.
It's actually not our focus at the moment. Our focus is to develop technologies, but I'm sure that this kind of conversation could be brought to the CEO table for further evaluation.
Okay. Compare with your competitor, what is the most important factor that could be that make a difference between you and others?
Well, there are a few key differentiating factors if we compare SEGUICI to the competitors. In fact, the permeability of our wall, of the three-dimensional structure, is one of the key differentiating factors that it allows for the nutrient to pass through, as well as the androgenic properties that silk has intrinsic in the material, and therefore SEGUICI has, which actually allow to create a vascularized nerve graft, which is one of the key difficulties of the space. And the other one is the mechanical properties, so the compression strength together with the tensile strength, which is the ability to elongate the elasticity of the device, provide to an additional support to the nerve. With the other solution, this is not actually possible, and our value proposition is to offer the same efficacy of the standard of care, or the gold standard, with a lower price. We have a panel of expertise of specialists in US, a very renowned panel, and we have already received a confirmation of a great potential for our device as soon as it will be approved.
Thanks a lot, Gabriella.
Thank you.
Thanks. See you soon and good luck.
Thank you very much.
So we can go ahead with Marco Ferroni, CEO and co-founder of Magshell. Hi, Marco. I can see your presentation and I can hear you.
Okay, can you see me?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
Go ahead. Ciao.
Thank you very much. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I'm Marco Ferroni, CEO and co-founder of Magshell. Magshell was born from the need to solve the problems related to age-related macular degeneration, a chronic and degenerative disease of the retina, and first cause of blindness in developed countries. Nowadays, all the patients have in common this kind of black hole that increases with the disease progression until a total and irreversible vision loss. What you can see is the current gold standard treatment for exudative form of age-related macular degeneration. We are talking about intravitreal injections of drug, very frequent and very annoying. Despite the great efficacy of the drug itself, at the only thought to undergo to this kind of treatment for the entire life, a patient suffers from fear, anxiety, and abandon the treatment, and which is a main consequence, total irreversible vision loss. In this context, Magshell proposes i3D, an intraocular biodegradable drug delivery device able to replicate the current clinical practice, but drastically reducing the number of injections, hospital accesses, and all the clinical burdens associated to the therapy. Once injected into the vitreous chamber, the device is able to replicate properly the clinical practice. How? The external shell of the device is eroded by the fluid motion, and then a first drug dose is released. A second shell is eroded by the same mechanism, and a second drug dose is released with the same timing. This mechanism keeps on working until the total dissolution of the device and to the completion of the pharmaceutical treatment. Due to the absence of drug delivery devices on the market for the treatment of wet AMD, nowadays the product leaders are intravitreal drugs for a total market over $9 billion and the continuous growth. But which is the real impact of our solution when it will be available on the market? First of all, it will have a real social impact due to the great reduction of the number of injections, increasing the patient adherence to the therapy. Then there will be a great reduction of the therapy overheads per patient, and it will create double-digit business opportunities for pharmaceutical companies, since our technology is able to avoid that a patient may abandon the treatment. We are Maxiel, an innovative startup, spin-off of Politecnico di Milano. We developed 2 families of patents with 2 granted patents and 6 pending ones. We raised up to now €500,000, so important in order to consolidate the network of strategical collaboration and the scientific and technological level of our solution, of our technology. Due to the absence of drug delivery devices on the market for the treatment of age-related macular degeneration, at the pre-market stage, our solution is the only one able to replicate the current clinical practice, releasing preloaded drug doses at preset times in an autonomous way and without surgery. Margherita, Francesco, and I represent the operative part of the team of Maxiel with several years of experience in ocular biomechanics and development of magnesium-based device, medical device. We are supported by a panel of advisory in continuous expansion, continuous growth from scientific and the clinical point of view. And during our path, we have been accelerated funding supported by several entities in the innovation network. After reached the most important milestone in the last years from compatibility, safety, and efficacy and prototyping in vitro, we started at the beginning of this year the last in vitro validation activities, and we are going to start in the next month the first pilot animal study, whose results will be consolidated and extended with a second animal experimentation campaign, followed by the first partnerships with pharmaceutical companies for the clinical trials. In fact, our aim is to develop a drug container to make it available to pharmaceutical companies that are free to include it in the private pipeline and extend the competitive advantages of their active principle. So we are Maxiel, we protect your site. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Marco. Marco, are you planning any round for the future in the next year? I mean, 1.5 years.
Yes, we are in a phase. We are very close to close a C round in this month, and after that we are going to build a pre-series A for the 2024 for the last part of the preclinical validation and the first in human clinical phase.
Your most important market should be Italy or Europe by beginning?
By the very beginning, the most important markets will be USA in terms of sales, at least 5 countries in Europe and Japan. And according to the scalability of the device and other potential markets, we will plan the extension to other countries, to other markets.
Thanks a lot, Marco. Very interesting company.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I will ask to Jean-Noël, CEO and co-founder of Neurokima, to come on the stage. Hi, Jean-Noël. I can't hear you. I can see your presentation, but I can't hear you.
Can you see the presentation here?
Yeah, okay. Now I can see presentation and hear you.
So sorry for the delay.
No worries.
So let me introduce Neurokima, which is a firm located in France, in Brittany, and we are a developer of advanced technology in terms of design of neuromarkers. Neurokima is a significant company in neuroimaging for 2 markets. The first one is the research in CNS therapy, and the second one to optimize the EEG measurement in wellness market. We are 2 co-founders. My colleague, who is the the research director at INSERM in Rennes, and is very known throughout the world in signal processing, and myself as the manager and the business developer. We have very complementary skills, and with this team, as a co-founder, in French, a part of the French ministry, which is called the Société d'Accélération Transfert de Technologie, is also a co-founder of the company. So our technology is to take the EEG signal, electroencephalogram signal, to design the brain network. That means that through a headset, EEG, we are able to use the EEG signal and to design the brain network responding as a stimulus. For example, I take this example, the illustration of a neurochema technology. If I show you an apple, you will see in the middle many waves. That's the EEG signal. That's how the EEG signal. The neurochema technology is able to design the brain, the part of the brain cortex network activated in less than 1 second. For example, in this term, there is less than 100 milliseconds of visual processing, about 100 milliseconds of visual recognition. The access to the memory, it's about 200 milliseconds. And in this space, we can see the differences between, for example, Alzheimer's disease patient and a subject, normal subject. After we have the semantic processing, the phonological encoding and articulation. So through this technology, we have our first market is the clinical trial market for the pharmaceutical firm, and we address many pathology. The first one, of course, are the CNS disease, PD, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, and epilepsy. And we were part of clinical trial for all these diseases. The second type of disease is a psychiatry disease like PTSD or depression. On other diseases like stroke and autism can be interesting by our technology. So there is a complete adequacy between the clinical trial needs and neurochema solution. The first clinical trial needs, the first clinical trial needs is the patient stratification. What neurochema technology allows to the CRO on pharmaceutical firm is to define very precise inclusion and exclusion criteria. Our technology is easy to use, and we are able to design subgroup patient identification. The second clinical needs are the therapeutics following. That means that, of course, the qualification of the therapy efficiency is our main goal. We're able, through the brain network visualization, to define also the patient responders. The second market that we have is the one. Yeah.
Jean-Noël, thanks a lot but we have 4 minutes, so I have to stop you, but we can start the Q&A session. I have just a question for you, but what do you see in neurochema in the next 5 years? In which way you see your startup in next years?
In next years, for the wellness market, we are, for example, in cosmetic market, there is a very big demand in terms of neuromarkers for the wellness. And for the pharmaceutical firm, we are designing on working on many design for PD, Parkinson disease, and Alzheimer's disease clinical trials, mainly in Europe for now and Asia.
And what is your investment strategy?
So our investment strategy in the future will to split the company through these two markets, mainly the cosmetic market. With we have many deals with industrial company in cosmetics, and for pharmaceutical market to have a deal with a pharmaceutical firm in order to continue to develop neuromarkers in Parkinson or Alzheimer's disease.
Thanks a lot, Jean-Noël.
Thank you. Thank you for your welcome.
Good luck. Good luck for your neurochema. Now I call Stéphane Gouraud, sorry, Chief Operation Officer of Procope Medical. Hi. I can see your presentation. Hi. I don't hear you. One second. Okay, could you please switch off the headphone? Could you please take off your headphones, please?
I'm sorry.
Okay, now, okay. Perfect.
And do you see my presentation? I'm sorry.
Yes, we can see your presentation.
Okay, so
thanks
let's
a lot.
go.
No worries. 4 minutes for you.
I'm Stephanie. Okay, thank you. And I'm Stephanie, and I'm delighted to introduce you the Procope Medical solution. Procope Medicals is dealing with a worldwide health problem, the lack of heart graft. Since 2018, we developed a new generation of artificial heart with the Nantes University Hospital. What about the problem? Heart failure is a progressive disease, and in the end stage of the disease, it's affecting 200,000 people worldwide. Within the population waiting for a transplant, each year, only 3% will receive a matched heart. A lasting alternative to transplantation is essential, and Procope Medicals is committed to offer with this solution the best possible quality of life for patients. What makes our artificial heart completely unique? First, it's compatible with all patients, regardless the morphologies. Then the autonomy of life and above all the health are preserved because no recurrent infection or complications occur with our fully implantable device. It mimics the natural blood flow of the heart for a better functioning of all our organs. And finally, a better recovery after operation is possible because our device is designed to optimize the operation time. What our innovative points? Our device needs less energy than our...
Stephanie, sorry, we can't see your presentation. We just see the front page. If you can share better.
Do you see?
Okay, now is better. Yes. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry. So our device needs less energy than our solution. So to power it, we use transcutaneous energy transfer, and the energy recharge is done through the skin. That eliminates all cables causing infections. 2 volumes are available to suit everyone, men and women. And as mentioned, with the surgeons, we have created a specific design able to reduce the implantation's time. And just like our heart, our device will adapt to the patient's activity and blood flow needs. Regarding the market, it's a fast-growing and high-potential market. The global market is estimated at $18 billion. Some people are not eligible for a heart transplant, those over 65 or with other disease. But who may be eligible for an artificial heart? So our SO market is estimated to $875 million. Currently, only one device, SynCardia device, is officially approved and sold in the world. Designed in the 80s, this solution requires a bulky equipment with a strong impact on health. The COMAS technology is clearly more advanced, but the volume is compatible with only 65% of men's chest and only 14% of those of women. The Swedish Real Heart and the Australian Bivacor are also working on artificial heart. Their technologies are different from ours, and some additional studies will be needed to figure out their impact. Today, the project is run by a strong and complementary team. Our CEO are already worked on heart pump, and our engineers teams works closely with the surgeons. We also set up an active scientific board led by researchers, doctors, engineers with complementary skills, and this board will be developed for giving an international dimension to PROCOP. Our innovation is protected by an international patent, 100% owned by PROCOP. It also offers protection for future products and new applications. About the strategy, and to conclude, we are focused on the R&D plan until the clinical trials expected in 5 years. The fundraising strategy supports our R&D plan with public and private money. Currently, we are looking for 500K to accelerate our preclinical trials before a more important fundraising at 7 million euros next year. And we prefer, on the clinical phase, we prefer an exit with a major player who will be able to organize the production and the marketing of the device, of the artificial heart. Many thanks for your attention.
Thanks a lot. Stephanie, what is your plan for the next 5-6 years? We have already seen your plan to fundraising, but on the market, what are you planning?
Until the go-to-market and the beginning of the clinical phases, we will develop in 3 incremental phases the device. We finish by the end of this year the MVP step, so the minimum viable product. So the device will be functional at the end of this year. The next 2 years will be biocompatible and hemocompatible, and we will begin the animal trials. And since 2025, we will start the clinical trials with a fully implantable and connected device.
And what will be your most important market? You have a patent around the world, but what is your focus market?
Our focus market is, of course, the end stage of heart failure, and more specifically, the patients who suffer of non-eligibility for heart transplants. There are so many people over 65 years old or with other disease who cannot be transplanted with natural hearts. So that's our focus.
Thanks a lot, really, and good luck. Good luck for your startup.
Thank you so much.
So now I call Luca Ravagnan, CEO and co-founder, the WISE. Hi, Luca. I can see your presentation. Hi.
Okay. Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
And you can also hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Okay, great. So, well, it's a pleasure. So I'm the last not to be the least. So I will present today WISE. I'm actually the CEO and one of the founder of the company. And indeed, I want immediately to share with you our vision. So WISE wants to be the first company produce neuro leads that are soft, conformable, stretchable, and minimally invasive. And we already did quite a lot of path on this way because we have already a commercial product. So we completely developed an electrode for brain mapping and stimulation that is now commercial in Europe. And we are currently developing a chronic electrode for pain treatment. But in the long term, the vision of the company is really to revolutionize lead manufacturing for many different medical devices. And why is it so important, especially in the neurospace? Because there is a huge gap, mechanical gap, between the very soft nature of the neural tissue and the very hard nature of the current neural leads. Because they're made of metal components, indeed they are stiff, hard, and we solve this problem by substituting the metal conductors that are placed in current electrodes with a soft elastomeric conductor that we have developed. This is covered by 5 patent families. This is broadly now approved, and we can indeed reduce invasivity, increase conformability, and also make electrodes of new geometries. And as I said, we already applied successfully this technology to an electrode that is used for recording, monitoring, and stimulating electrical signal on the brain, used during brain surgery and epilepsy surgery. And you can see here in this movie the comparison of a conventional strip on the left and our strip on the right, and you can easily see why does conformability matter. So we can indeed have a very good contact to the brain without putting any pressure, and this improved the reliability of the monitoring during brain surgery. We successfully concluded a European clinical study. We obtained CE mark, we are commercial, and we are in the progress to obtain also the FDA clearance. But today I will focus on the hero lead, so the next stage. And here we're tackling chronic pain. Indeed, as you might know, a very large proportion of people, about 1.5 billion worldwide, suffer by chronic pain, and in the more severe conditions, these patients require usage of opioids in high doses. And as you also might know, there is now a crisis for the opioid users. There is an alternative to usage of pharma, that is spinal cord stimulation. An electrode is implanted on the spine, and electrical signals are delivered, and this allows to block the pain. We are not inventing this therapy; already exists. It's already a market of $2.5 billion worldwide. But here there is a problem because most of the users use electrodes that can be inserted minimally, but from a performance standpoint, pedals that require surgical procedure are much better. Well, we are the first allowing to implant electrodes that are better performance by a minimally invasive surgery, and this is obtained by the hero lead. So what we do, we put a large electrode and we fold it into a catheter, and we can then implanted means basically, and then open in place. We already demonstrated that this can be done on a human anatomy. We demonstrated the implantation, the navigation, and the current opening of the electrode. So the vision is to get in the next 2 years to the FDA regulatory clearance, show on the clinical efficacy, and then go toward the acquisition of the company. Well, we already raised in our history 26 million euro for the development of the company so far, an additional 6 million of grants. We are 30 people into the company currently, and we have a facility in Milan where we do the manufacturing and the development of our electrodes. So this is WISE, and well, looking forward to answers to your questions.
Thanks a lot, Luca. Luca, are you looking for a new round in the next year? You have your fundraising is already.
So yeah, we're already fundraising 26 million. We have a strong base of investors. We are always open also to the possibility to have new strategic investor joining us. So as any startup, fundraising is always part of our activity. So it is not in the short term, but by probably end of next year, we will add an additional round. So, well, reach me if you are interested to invest in WISE.
Interesting. Luca, what makes your technology unique?
Well, indeed, we are able to embed particle of metal into the polymer, making the implanted part conductive but stretchable at the same time. So this is the difference. So we don't use a continuous cable which is rigid, but we can use this composite material. We can have conductivity that are pretty fine for the medical device. That's indeed, we have no problem in that regard. And we have mechanical properties that are extremely similar to one of the polymer, of the stretchable polymer.
Luca, who are the founders? Could you tell us more about the people that founded the company with you?
Yeah, well, that's actually is interesting because the funding team is made by material scientists. So we are physicists. So we are the 4 founders are all physicists. We developed the technology when we were a researcher. I've been a researcher for a number of years, and then we discovered that this technology first, and then the field of application that was meaningful was the medical sector, and specifically the neuro one. So we then. So we are a material scientist team that founded at the end a medical device company. So this is how it started.
Thanks, Luca. You are perfect in time. So thanks a lot. And as you know, WISE was the last startup of today. Honestly, all of startups are a magnificent project, and thanks for your attention to medtech and for the future of the medicine that could help us to live better in the future. I would like to say to all of startuppers that by filling in the form we sent you in the chat, you can ask for one-to-one, and all of requests will be gathered by team of Tavolo Giovani and in the next few days. So thanks really to all. Thanks to Camera di Commercio di Milano Monza Brianza Lodi and the Chamber of Commerce, Chambre de Commerce di Nantes and Nazaire for organizing this event, the first international edition of Tavolo Giovani, but probably not the last one. Thanks a lot, and see you next month.